everyone, and welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Thomas Durning, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Pearse McLaughlin. Hello, Pearse.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing well. On today's podcast, we will be reacting to last weekend's English Premier League results and also English FA Cup results. We'll also be reacting to last week's Champions League semi-final. Quarter-final results. We'll also react to last weekend's Scottish Cup results, and at the end of the podcast, Pearse will be giving a rundown of all the latest Asian football news. So we'll start off with last weekend's English Premier League results. So on Saturday, the 20th of April, the results finished: Sheffield United 1, Burnley 4, Luton Town 1, Brentford 5, Wolves 0, Arsenal 2. And then on Sunday, the 21st of April, the results finished: Everton 2, Nottingham Forest 0, Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth 1, Crystal Palace 5, West Ham United 2, Fulham 1, Liverpool 3. So, Pearse, as usual, which match stands out to you the most?
I think it's probably the most controversial game of the past weekend, which is the Everton 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Obviously, it's a relegation 6-pointer. Both teams have been deducted points this season due to, obviously, breach of financial fair play, which both clubs have contested and are feel as if they're really hard done by. And then, obviously, the match itself, Everton won 2-0. You think that's a comfortable scoreline, but there was pretty glaring, obvious errors about in terms of like VAR, in terms of like maybe potential penalties. That obviously Nottingham Forest were not happy about, and they voiced their concerns over their social media page. And they've then been obviously reprimanded, and they're going to be investigated and potentially punished by the PGMLO, and obviously the Premier League. So it probably could be really harshly punished. But in terms of the game itself, I thought it was a game that both sides needed to win. But I think we're all going to be talking about the potential tweet. And
Do you want me to read out the tweet?
how did you go, mate? Aye.
I thought it was, so this was the tweet that Nottingham Forest put out after the match. So it said, 3 extremely poor decisions, 3 penalties not given, which we simply cannot accept. We warned the PGMOL that the VAR is a Luton fan before the game, but they didn't change him. Our patience has been tested multiple times. Nottingham Forest will now consider its options. So that was the statement that they put out after the game on Twitter.
It's a pretty damning statement to call it a VAR official for being a certain supporter of a club. And obviously Luton Town is down near the bottom half of the table in that relegation battle. So to mention that as well is pretty damning. But we'll see how things pan out. But that's the standout fixture for me this weekend.
Yeah, in terms of that is the standout match from the weekend because that's the game that's getting all the headlines. Not really for what happened on the pitch, for mostly because of what Nottingham Forest, the statement that they put out after the game. But just talking on the pitch, it was actually a massive result for Everton because that kind of steers them away a bit more from the relegation zone. That was a relegation 6-pointer match. Nottingham Forest are still in a little bit of trouble. But that statement, I mean, I don't know about you, Pearse, but I just thought it was ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, when I first saw it, I actually didn't think it was real. I thought it was like one of the kind of parody accounts that, I just didn't think. I did not think for a minute it was the actual official Twitter account. Then I realised it was, and I was like, I just thought it was a bit, just like immature, saying that basically they were just accusing the PGMOL of cheating. Basically, they're cheating them, and they don't want Nottingham Forest to win because, I don't know, because they want them relegated. I just thought it was ridiculous. I thought there was absolutely no need for that. Okay, I accept the fact that, the decisions that went against them, very, very controversial. To be honest with you, I thought they should have had at least 2 penalties in the match, at least. So I understand that they're angry, but I don't agree. I don't agree with that statement. I think I just don't see the point in it. It doesn't do anything. And they're going to probably get punished for that now. Um, really, really bad statement in my opinion. But it was given. So yeah, so that is my standout game in terms of the way the kind of match ended. But I want to just briefly touch on the Luton Brentford match. So obviously that finished Luton 1, Brentford 5. A bad result that is for Luton. I think that was a game they kind of had to win or at least get a draw. They couldn't afford to lose, and the fact that they lost 5-1, um, you know, I think they're in a little bit of trouble now. I always thought Luton were going to stay up, but after that at the weekend, I'm really not sure now. I think that could. It was the fact that they lost 5-1 as well at home, and they're known for being quite, tough at home, and I think that result could land them in a bit more trouble now. And then obviously just briefly touching on Arsenal Liverpool, who got back to winning ways after their 2 defeats last week. So the Arsenal are now back in top at the moment. Liverpool, I think they're second. Sorry, Man City. They're third, but they've got a game in hand. So yeah, so still all to play for in the title race. So we'll move on now to the English FA Cup semi-final. So we'll start off with the Saturday 20th of April semi-final match, which was between Man City and Chelsea, and that finished 1-0 to Man City after a Bernardo Silva, I think it was the 80th minute, he scored the winner. So what was your thoughts on that match, Pearse?
In terms of the match, I thought it was pretty much all Chelsea, which was got to be expected, considering it was 3 days after Man City's match against Real Madrid in the Champions League, which we'll touch on later. So I thought the Man City team looked a bit leggy, and obviously Chelsea had a full week to prepare. But it's been the same thorn in the side of Chelsea all season. They create chances, but they just fail to take them, and the forward line is just so powder puff. It's incredible. Because you look at someone like Nicholas Jackson, he just never convinces you that he's got any conviction in his play. Like you can get, you make runs into great positions and stuff like that, but more
He
often
had
not,
some big chances.
some big chances. And he just blew it. And then if you give someone like the animal that is Manchester City, who are serial winners in England and obviously domestically and obviously in Europe as well, if you give them a glimmer of hope, they'll punish you, and that's what happened. In the second half, they got the one kind of big chance they created, and they took it, and it had to be someone like Bernardo Silva, who is just a guy that plays 60 games a season for Man City, plays in a number of positions, and just technically brilliant as a footballer. But I think obviously the main talking point, which I don't know if you've seen it, but is the potential penalty decision that Chelsea should have had with the
Yeah.
free kick. I think it was Cole Palmer's free kick, and it hit Jack Grealish in the arm as it broke through the wall, and it was given as a goal kick, which obviously
Mm-hmm.
we didn't even look at it, and we kind of don't know the rules of what the handball, but more often than not you see that given, and we see it in Europe, Scotland and in England. Like if the ball even like a deflection for like a yard away or a ricochet off a head or an elbow, it's been given. Celtic been done, Rangers been done recently in the Glasgow Derby, and you've seen the Champions League. So
Yep.
penalties are given week in, week out, and you expect something like that to be given. But I think Chelsea we feel a lot hard done by in terms of that's how they've lost this game and potentially not into a final. But Man City, uh, credit to them, didn't play their best, but they got the result in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so I actually thought Chelsea played well, was a bit. I thought they played really well in the match. I don't know. I've kind of thought with Chelsea the last kind of few weeks. I think they're getting better and better as the kind of the weeks go by. I think there seems to be a bit, they just seem a bit more of a team now. Like you can see them, they're kind of growing a little bit more. Um, and yeah, you were talking there about Nicholas Jackson. He had, I think it was at least 3 massive chances in the game. He had 2 one-on-ones that he should have scored and he didn't, and then he had a header at the back post which he should have put away and he didn't. And you know, if you're going to keep missing, I think you said this, if you're going to keep missing chances again, Man City, eventually they're going to punish you, and they did. You know, Man City, I think that's a massive result for them, considering the fact that they played the Champions League a few days before. You know, playing that and then going into an FA Cup semi-final, that's quite hard going. So the fact that they kind of got that goal and set and got into the final, you know, they were really pleased. You know, Pep Guardiola after the match, he kind of came out and he wasn't happy with the fact that, you know, Man City had to play on Wednesday, and then they had to play again on Saturday. You know, he said that the space between the days was not big enough. So yeah, Man City they'll be really happy about that. They're in the FA Cup final again. They'll be hoping to make it two FA Cup wins in a row. Um, and yeah, big result for Man City, but I think Chelsea will they'll be really disappointed because I thought they played really well in the match, and you know, easily could have won that because they did have some big chances. But as you said, there just seems to although they've got some really good players, I think going forward they miss that kind of lethal striker that will get them 20-30 goals a season. You know, because they do create a lot of chances, but they just can't convert them. So yeah, that's where I think we're at with Chelsea at the moment. We'll move on to the other FA Cup semi-final match. So this was played on the Sunday, the 21st of April, and I think this could be up there as one of the best semi-final matches in FA Cup history. So it finished Coventry City 3, Man United 3, and then Man United won 4-2 on penalties. So that's now a Man City versus Man United final. But talking about the match, Pearse, I mean, where do you even start? Try.
Probably got to start with obviously Man United being probably a bit too good for Coventry. Getting a 3-0 lead, you expect them to with half an hour to go and see the match out. But I think obviously Ten Hag has made some substitutions. The players have probably thought the game is done. And let's be honest, like no match is done until the whistle's blown. That's the mentality she always have. And nothing surprised this season with Manchester United because they have been woeful this season in terms of like they haven't been able to string like two or three results, positive results together. And that's why there's always that question mark looming over Eric Ten Hag's head this season and potentially the next season. But no, you have to take credit. I thought they were brilliant in the first half. They kind of outclassed Coventry. But I've seen Coventry have been a fairy tale story this season in the FA Cup. Even in the last round against Wolves, they outplayed Wolves the whole game, and Wolves somehow managed to come back in it, but they managed to win it in the end in stoppage time. And fair play to Coventry, I thought they were outstanding to show that mental toughness to come back and score some tremendous goals. I thought Ellis Simms' goal was the pick of the bunch on a half volley, just inside the box. And that's a player that was alone at Hearts a few seasons ago. That was a great story. And then obviously you get extra time and then penalties. And like you say, penalties is a lottery. You never know who's going to win it. But I thought Coventry had done themselves proud. A championship side going to the semi-final and running a club like Manchester, the size of Manchester United, the way they did, and you look at the budgets of the two sides. It's a stark in contrast. You know, it's for them to ride Manchester United that close to an FA Cup final is incredible. Hats off to Mark Robbins, Coventry side. Thought they did tremendously well. But I've got a special mention to Anthony. I thought he was classless
Yeah.
in victory. Top your ears after a penalty win over Coventry is it's not a great sight to see. Should show respect to their opponents. Because the fact is, it was like you say, it was a cup tie for ages. 3-3, goals galore, penalty shootout, extra time. It had everything in it. So no, I thought in terms of the match, I thought it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was such a good match. You know, as you said, Man United went 3-0 up in the match. They were kind of in cruise control. you thought that was it. You thought Man United were safely in the FA Cup final, and then I don't know what happened out of nowhere. Coventry just got a goal because they didn't look like scoring, to be fair. And then out of nowhere they got that goal, and then they got the second goal. It was a huge deflection. But they got, and then they're right back in the game. And then in the last minute, they get that penalty, which was kind of similar to Grealish's, but this time Coventry got the penalty, whereas Chelsea didn't get the penalty. So the two penalties were quite similar, but Coventry got back in the game. You know, it was in your kind of. I think apart from my United fans, I think everyone was rooting for Coventry at that point. You know, because the fact that they came back from 3-0 against Man United, Championship side, it was brilliant to see. And then you actually thought the biggest upset in FA Cup history had just been pulled, and when in the 120th minute Coventry scored, it was kind of mad. So they went 4-3 up in the 120th minute, the last kick of the game before penalties. But as usual, VAR kind of ruins the moment and rules it out offside. And it was by like the slightest margins. I think it's so unfair, that rule. You know, it was like the slightest of margins. It was like a toe. It was like a toe offside. And that kind of ruined, that kind of spoiled Coventry City's moment. And then they were actually ahead in the penalty shout, Coventry, because Casemiro missed the first penalty. But then, you know, Coventry just kind of lost their nerve a bit. They missed two penalties, and then Rasmus Højlund scored the winner for Man United. But overall, for Coventry City, I mean, they should be so proud of themselves, because the fact that they took Man United all the way to penalties, the fact that they came back from 3-0 and actually could have won the game, because they scored in good. Well, they did win the game at one point. You know, they should be really the fans should be really proud of the team. And for Man United, you know, it's I think you're at the point with Man United where you've kind of ran out of words. You just don't know what is going on. You know, like they just every time I watch Man United, I've never seen a good performance this season. Not once have I said if I watched Man United, I thought, oh, that was a really good performance. They played really well there. You know, they just always seem to be hanging on in games and just about winning games. And although they are in the final, I think Erik ten Hag's going to be. I think he's under a lot of pressure now, because I think Man United fans are kind of starting to think, you know, they don't know if he's going to be the right man to take them forward. Because obviously the new owners have come in and they've kind of made a lot of changes. But that's a different story. The point is, it's going to be Man United Man City final in the FA Cup. It was a Man United Man City final last season in the FA Cup, and it'll be the same this season. So that'll get played in a few weeks' time, and we'll talk about that when the match has finished and we find out who's won the FA Cup. So we'll now move on to last weekend's Scottish Cup semi-final results. So there was no Scottish Premier League matches played last week. That return next week. So we'll start off with the Saturday match, which was Celtic Aberdeen, and it finished Celtic 3, Aberdeen 3, but Celtic won on penalties 6-5. Once again, another cracker of a semi-final. What's your thoughts, Pearse?
Again, another cup semi-final classic. It's probably one for the ages yet again. It had everything. Like, I had that early goal within a minute from Bojan Miovski. And behind the back line scores, and you're like, oh, what's happened here? And then Celtic get back into it early on through a mistake by Aberdeen at the back. You're thinking 1-1, and then half time's 1-1, second half, Celtic bring on James Forrest, adds a bit of directness, gets the goal 2-1, and then literally probably the last kick of the 90, back post cross, Sokler scores. You're like, wow, extra time. And it's just more of the same, and then Celtic get themselves in front again, right on the stroke of half time of the first half and extra time. Matt O'Reilly, it was a tremendous finish right in the top hand corner, and then virtually a carbon copy. McDonald, the Aberdeen captain, ball into the box by Hoylett again, back post, same header, same result, and 120th minute, and you're like penalties. You're like, wow, this game just it has everything. And in terms of the actual match itself, I thought Celtic played really well at times with the possession. I thought Aberdeen defended manfully, and when they went forward, they actually caused Celtic a lot of problems. And there's some decisions which went against both sides in terms of those potential penalty that Aberdeen could have had and could have won the game. But there was a foul in the build up to that. So in terms of drama, it was so high drama, and then obviously Celtic the chance to win the penalty shootout, and up steps Joe Hart as the fifth penalty, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? And then he's missed it, and then it goes into sudden death, and then he makes up and he saves it and he wins, and Celtic go through to the final. But no, I thought the game itself was, it had everything. And like you say, I thought it was a game for the ages, and no, it was a tremendous cup tie.
Yeah, it was. It was a really, really tight one, tight semi-final match. You know, you just kind of went through how the match unfolded, and it was just Aberdeen were just. I thought they played really well because that was kind of like their last kind of meaningful match of the season because they're in the bottom six. They can't really. This was their only chance really to get kind of European football, or a chance of European football next season. So, uh, you could tell that they were really up for it. But Celtic weren't really good on the day. To be fair, I thought defensively they were pretty poor. And yeah, Aberdeen they did deserve to take it at least to the extra time. Celtic scoring extra time. In the first half extra time, you think, oh, that's it, Celtic have done it. And then, as you said, in the 20th minute, Aberdeen get that get that goal. They were similar to their second goal. They got the back in the 90th minute, so it was quite weird how Celtic just couldn't kind of see it out in the last minutes of the game. And then the penalty shootout was just pretty crazy, to be honest. Aberdeen missed their pen away, and you think that Celtic are going to go and win this fifth penalty taken. You see it's Joe Hart, and I was like, this is pretty risky. Letting your keeper take the fifth penalty, and then when he missed it, I thought, oh my god, if Celtic go out here, then Brendan Rodgers is going to be under it's going to get so much stick for letting his goalkeeper take the fifth penalty. But Joe Hart redeemed himself, and Celtic get through to the semi-final. Get through to the final, and yeah, it was a brilliant semi-final. Kind of wish I mean, if it was the final, it would have been brilliant. But it was a semi-final. Aberdeen again, they should be proud of themselves. The fact that they gave Celtic a really good game. They kind of took it all the way. Easily could have won it. They didn't, but yeah, Celtic go through the Scottish Cup final once again, and obviously they'll be looking to win that cup in a few weeks' time. And then on Sunday, the 21st of April, we had the other semi final, which was between Rangers and Hearts, and that finished Rangers 2, Hearts 0. So that was a pretty comfortable kind of victory for Rangers. And what was your thoughts, Pearse, on the match?
I was surprised in terms of the result and how the match unfolded, because, like you say, Rangers in a bit of sticky form at the moment. 2 wins in the last 7, leading into this fixture, and also Hearts had 4 wins in the last 8. And obviously Lawrence Shankland's top goals from the SPL. And obviously, I don't know if you've seen Stephen Naismith's comments before the game, says this is the best time to play Rangers. We're the favourites. We're in the better form. Blah blah blah. And obviously cup final and a chance to win silverware. And that's not how the match unfolded at all. I thought Rangers were very comfortable in the match. I thought they played good football at times, and I thought they cut Hearts open at will. And it could have been and should have been more than just the 2 goals. Dessers gets a double. He'll probably steal the headlines because being a match winner. But I thought Rangers overall played a lot better. They looked a lot better defensively, and they looked as if they just caused Hearts no ends of problems, and they made Hearts look very average. And this is the side that's the third best team in the league. But Hearts, I don't know if they seem to have this mental block against Rangers. But that's now 12 losses against Rangers in the last 13 matches. They've not beaten Rangers since the COVID season. which is a long, long time. So I don't know what it is because, as you've seen, they're a good side, third in the league quite comfortably. And also they've beaten Celtic twice this season, 2-0, 2-0 at Celtic Park and at Tynecastle. So to beat the team that's currently top of the league, scoring 4 goals and conceding 0, but when you play Rangers, you're miles off it and you're just getting nowhere near it. Maybe some questions have to be asked in terms of that aspect of it, but in terms of the match itself, I thought Rangers thoroughly deserved to get to the final, and they've got a chance, obviously, potential chance of a treble or even at least a double, because obviously it's now set up a monumental tie of the Glasgow derby in the final, which is something we're going to have to look forward to.
Yep. So yeah, I did say at the start it was a pretty comfortable victory for Rangers, and it was. I thought Hearts on it because I was expecting a pretty tight match, and it didn't really turn out that way. I thought Hearts were, I thought they were pretty poor on the day. Defensively, I thought they weren't great. Um, and yeah, it was a pretty comfortable one for Rangers. And I think Hearts will be disappointed because, Naismith said before the match that his team were the favourites to win the match. And you probably thought that was true because Rangers were going into that match pretty poor form. They've only won, I think there's only like one win in six. They weren't really in the greatest form. So this was a good opportunity for Hearts, but they didn't really take it. Rangers got that early goal in the match, and I don't think the Hearts they had a good few chances in the game, but I think Rangers kind of ran out pretty comfortable winners. And yep, so that is now a Celtic versus Rangers Scottish Cup final match, which is really exciting. That's going to be that'll be played on the same day as the FA Cup final. So we'll have two derbies played, two derbies, Man United, Man City, and Celtic versus Rangers. So that'll be played on the same day. That's going to be really exciting.
There's only
I'm
one
really
true derby though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. There is only one true derby, but um, no, but I'm going to be really looking forward to talking about that in a few weeks' time after the matches are played. It's always exciting when the FA Cup final, Scottish Cup final come round, because they always turn out to be pretty good matches. So yeah, that's our FA Cup and Scottish Cup final matches confirmed. So we'll move on now to last week's Champions League quarter-final matches. So we now know who's in the semi-final. So I'll start off with Barcelona PSG. So on the night, it was Barcelona 1, PSG 4, and that meant PSG won 6-4 in aggregate, which now sends them to semi-final. And then we also had Borussia Dortmund at Atletico Madrid. On the night, it finished 4-2 Borussia Dortmund, and Borussia Dortmund won 5-4 in aggregate. So just discussing the two matches first, Pearse. What was your thoughts?
Well, I predicted both Spanish sides to go through. I thought because they had slim advantages, Barca beat PSG away from home. Kylian Mbappe was nullified in the first leg in Paris. Um, and but in the second leg, Barcelona down to 10 men early on for Araujo, and then it just unfolds. And then PSG run out comfortable winners, and Mbappe steals the headlines again. And then into a semi-final. In terms of the other match, Dortmund Atletico, I think the atmosphere was incredible in the Signal Iduna Park. From watching it on TV, it looked incredible. And I think a Simeone side, who is known for being defensively solid, but this season they haven't been that defensively solid. But in the past, you expect a side of Simeone to be resolute away from home, especially in the Champions League with a slim 1 goal advantage. But they go 2-0 down, they bring it back, and they then have the advantage in the tie, and then they throw it away again. But I think Dortmund deserve to go through. I think both sides deserve to go through, and it's set up for a brilliant semi-final. And I couldn't call Dortmund or PSG. I think it's quite an evenly set tie, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, as am I. Obviously, just on the matches. So as you said, Barcelona PSG. I thought Barcelona were in control. They went 1-0 up in the match. But as you said, as soon as Araujo gets sent off for Barcelona, it kind of fell to pieces for them. Xavi got sent off in the match as well on the touchline. And yeah, I think after that, PSG kind of ran out comfortable winners. Barcelona, they'll be pretty disappointed with that because, as I just said, with 11 men, I thought they were better side. But when Araujo got sent off in the first half, PSG took control and ran out comfortable winners in the end. And then obviously you've got Borussia Dortmund, Atletico Madrid. A really, really good quarter-final match that was between them two sides. I thought Atletico Madrid would have had enough to go through, but Borussia Dortmund were brilliant on the night. The signal Iduna Park was kind of bouncing, and they played really well on the night, and they deserve to be in the semi-final. So obviously that's now going to be Borussia Dortmund versus PSG in the semi-final, which is that's a really tight match. That actually, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win that. That's a really close call. That's going to be. But I'm really looking forward to it when it comes round in a couple of weeks' time. And then we also had the other ones, which was played on the Wednesday, 17th of April. So Barcelona Arsenal, Bayern Munich, sorry, versus Arsenal. So it finished 1-0 Bayern Munich on the night, which meant that Bayern Munich went through on aggregate 3-2 to the semi-final. And then we had Man City Real Madrid. So that finished 1-1 on the night. It finished, and then it went to penalties, and Real Madrid won the tie 4-3 on penalties. So now we know that it'll be Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich in the other semi-final. So, yeah, Pearse, what was your thoughts on the matches?
We'll start off with the Arsenal Bayern Munich. The lowest scoring tie of the entire quarterfinals. But I did think getting back to the Allianz Arena with a draw for Arsenal's not enough. And Bayern Munich, it was quite a cagey affair. Neither side really wanted to commit too much in case they lost. But Bayern Munich did enough, get through the tie, and they're in the hat for the next round. In terms of the Man City Real Madrid, I did kind of call that. I said it was going to be a very tight affair. There's not going to be a repeat of last year where it was a 4-0 drubbing of Madrid. Ancelotti learned from his mistake. It was two contrasting styles. Man City, free-flowing possession. Real Madrid defended manfully. They got the early goal and they defended, and Man City eventually would get the goal. They get back, and then it went through to penalties. And like you say, it's a lottery, but Real Madrid are proven winners, and they got the job done. And they've knocked out the holders. So a Bayern Munich Real Madrid semi-final. That's two historical sides in the Champions League. Real Madrid the record holders, and then Bayern Munich have got 7 Champions Leagues as well. So it's going to be a set for another monumental tie. So I'm really looking forward to that in a couple of weeks' time as well.
Yep, same with me. Obviously, Bayern Munich, Arsenal. As you said, I think Arsenal had to win the first leg at the Emirates. The fact they didn't gave Bayern Munich made them the favourites, and they were and in the end they did deserve to go to the semi-final. I thought they were better on the night at the Allianz Arena. Arsenal did create a few chances, but I thought Bayern Munich had just done enough to get to the semi-final. So I thought Bayern Munich were worthy winners of that tie. And then obviously Man City Real Madrid. Real Madrid got the first goal in the night, and as soon as that went in, defensive mindset was switched on for Real Madrid, and it was kind of Man City had all the ball throughout the match. But as you said, Real Madrid defended brilliantly. Man City did get their goal, and I actually thought Man City were going to go on and win that because Real Madrid looked dead in their feet in extra time. But they managed to hang in there. And when they went to penalties, I just knew Real Madrid were going to do it. I just knew they would. There just seems to be something about them in this competition that they could be the second best team the whole night, but yet they still managed to find a way to win and get themselves through. And yet that'll now be a Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid semi-final. And out of the 4 teams, you can't say that Real Madrid are the favourites, because they are the favourites to win the full competition, as they always are. And in my opinion, I think they will. I'd be surprised if they don't go on and win the Champions League once again. So that's our Champions League semi-final matches confirmed, and we'll talk about them in a few weeks' time when the first legs get played. So for the final part of the show, Pearse will now give his Asian football roundup.
Yeah, so in the K-League 1, we had match day 8. So on Saturday, 20th of April, we had Seoul FC 2, Jeju United 1, FC Seoul 2, Jeonbuk Hyundai Motor 3, Pohang Steelers 0, Gimcheon Sangwoo 0. Saturday, 21st April, we had Gangwon FC 4 and United 0, Daegu FC 0, Daejeon Hana Citizen 0. So top of the table, we have Pohang Steelers first in 17 points, and then second, Gimcheon Sangwoo on 16 points, and Ulsan HD, the FC, in third on 14 points, having only played 7 matches. So all to play for the top half of the table. In terms of the bottom half, we've got Daejeon Hana Citizen and Gwangju FC both rooted to the table on 6 points, but with Gwangju FC get that game in hand, but it is against the current champions, which is going to obviously not go be a tough tie for them. And then we've got Daegu FC in 10th position on 7 points. So in terms of J League 1, so it was match day 9. So Saturday, 20th of April, we had Hoikuro Console Sapporo 1, Sanfrecce Hiroshima 1, Kyoto Sanga FC 0, Alberts Niigata 1, Sagan Tosu 4, Cam Shantlers 2, Avispa Fukuoka 2, Jubilo Iwata 2, Shonan Bellmare 0, Vissel Kobe 1, Kawasaki Frontale 0, Tokyo Verde 0, Red Diamonds 0, Gambo Osaka 1. And then Saturday, 21st of April, we had FC Tokyo 1, FC Michida Zelvia 2, and Nagoya Grampus 2, Cerezo Osaka 1. So at the top of the table, we have FC Michida Zelvia at top on 19 points. Second, we have Cerezo Osaka on 18, and third and fourth position, we have Sanfrecce Hiroshima and Vissel Kobe both on 17 points, separated by only 1 goal. And at the bottom of the table, we have 3 sides joined on 6 points, and that's Hoikuro Console Sapporo, Kyoto Sanga FC, and Shonan Bellmare, all separated by only the 5 goals. Yeah, so in terms of other Asian football news, we have Kim Min-Jae could potentially be on the move this summer with an unexpected loan move back to his former side Napoli. Has been muted. His move to Bayern Munich hasn't worked out and gone to plan, as he's been dropped for Eric Dyer and Dyer Upamecano as the preferred partnership for Thomas Tuchel's side. He isn't playing regularly, and Napoli aren't the same aren't the same without him. It remains to be seen what Kim's future will hold, but if his situation doesn't improve, I can see him transferring to another club in the summer, as he's a world-class defender, and I'm sure there will be plenty of suitors vying for his signature. So watch your space, and we've got you covered here at Football Chuggu. So Daegu FC are set to appoint Park Chang-Hyun, who's currently the manager of Hongik University, as the new manager of the team. So Nagoya's CS Asset Minato soccer field is closing from May through to November 2025 for large-scale renovations ahead of the 2026 Asian Games, which will be held in Japan. The electric scoreboard has operated for 31 years through an old Fujitsu terminal running MS-DOS. So it's fair to say it's needing whole-scale renovations. So Makoto Hasebe, who is now 40 years old, has announced that he will retire at the end of the 2023-24 season. His senior career started back in 2002, which is a truly incredible longevity at the highest level. The Japanese veteran moved to Frankfurt in the summer of 2014, where he's helped the Eagles not only win the DFB Pokal Cup and the UEFA Europa League, which was against Rangers, but also reached the UEFA Champions League as well. So born in Fujita on the 18th of January 1984, Hasebe left Japan for the Bundesliga during the 07-08 winter transfer window, having made over 215 appearances in all competitions and won numerous titles with the Red Diamonds, including the Domestic League back in 2006, the AFC Champions League in 2007, and the Domestic Japanese Cup in 05 and 06. So Hasebe signed for VfL Wolfsburg, where he made his top-flight German debut on February the 2nd, 2008, before helping Wolfsburg win the Bundesliga title the following campaign. Hasebe has gone on to make over 380 outings in Germany's top flight, leaving now the 40-year-old only behind Claudio Pizarro and Robert Lewandowski in the list of non-German players with the most appearances in the league. 383 appearances as of the time of recording. He is also part of the German Football League's Bundesliga Legends Network. After 5.5 years with the Wolves, Hasebe joined FC Nuremberg for the start of the 2013-2014 campaign before signing for Eintracht Frankfurt 12 months later. The Bundesliga record Asian appearance holder made his Eagles debut in the DFB Cup first round against BFC Victoria 98 on the 14th of August 2014 with his first goal coming in a 2-1 win against relegation rivals Darmstadt 98 nearly 2 years later, and on the 30th of April 2016. The versatile defender would go on to reach the 3 DFB Cup finals with the club, as well as the final of the Europa League in 2022. And this is what Hasebe's had to say on calling time on his career at the end of the season. I've given this decision a lot of thought. I think now is the right time to do so. And that is all your latest Asian football news.
Thank you, Pearse, and thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Football Chuggu Podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Chuggu YouTube channel and also the Football Chuggu website. Thanks for listening and see you soon.
Bye-bye.